Welcome to the lesson today. Today we're looking at phrasal verbs with set. Now some of the more observant among you will notice that I'm in a different room. Yes, I have moved house and so I need to set up my equipment in a new place because this is my bedroom. All of my old lessons were actually made in my bedroom and I had this whiteboard screwed into the wall. But I'm going to set about setting up a new office really, and I hope that this will mean that I can set out to make a lot more videos and a lot more frequently. Now we're going to look at phrasal verbs with set today. Let's start with set about, because set about means start doing something. It's always followed by a gerund, like most phrasal verbs. Not all, unfortunately, as we'll see in a second. But if you set about doing something, you just start doing it. So it took me quite a while to set all the equipment up, but about a couple of hours ago, or about an hour ago, I set about making this video. Now, if we go on to set out, when you set out to do something, you also start with the intention of finishing. You start something. So I set out to make this video about an hour ago, and you should notice that they're both the same. However, they're not exactly the same, because set about doing something and set out to do something. So they are different grammatically. One takes gerund, the other takes 2 plus infinitive. It's very rare that phrasal verbs take 2 plus infinitive, but this one does when you mean start with the intention of finishing something. However, there are many other meanings for set out. Set out can also mean explain. For example, this contract sets out the terms and conditions. Yeah, it explains, it goes through the terms and conditions. It reels off the terms and conditions, but as a list. Yeah, so it's a written list. You can also set out equipment, and then it means set out the equipment in order. Whenever you set something out on the floor or on the table, it means position everything in order. And so I have set out the equipment today to make a video. You can also use set out meaning leave, in which case it's exactly the same as set off. If you say we set off at 6:30, it means we left the house at 6:30. But you can say we set out at 6:30. So you can see these are exactly the same, these two phrasal verbs. They have the same meaning. Now another phrasal verb would be set down. If you set something down, you either put it down on the table, like set down a glass or set down a cup or something like that. But you could also say he set something down in a book, and then it would mean he wrote something down in a book. Now, if you say that his knowledge sets him apart from the rest of the class, that means it distinguishes him from the rest of the class. So you might say his detailed knowledge of mathematics set him apart from the rest of the class. If you set forth your ideas in a meeting, it's exactly the same as put across. You put across some great new ideas in the meeting, yeah, for how you're going to double the company's profits, something like that. Now, if you set someone up, this could mean many things. It could mean frame someone. So the police, if they plant evidence in your pocket, I hope they don't do anything like this, but if they do, then they are attempting to set you up for the crime, to make you take the blame for the crime. So set someone up could be used like that, when you make someone take the blame by, some kind of trick, really. But if you set one of your friends up with another friend, you are matchmaking here. You are trying to help people find love, and you're trying to get them to go out with each other. So if you try and set your friends up, that could mean matchmake. But lastly, you can set up equipment, meaning install it, assemble it. You could set up a tent, meaning put the tent up. Yeah, put up and set up there are pretty much the same. So please remember that set up could also be used like set up equipment, prepare equipment, make it ready for use. If you set the dogs on someone, that means you make the dog attack someone. You undo the leash and you say kill, and that would be setting the dog on someone. But if 3 robbers set upon you on your journey somewhere, that means they attacked you. And so it's attack or make something like a dog attack. It's both of them at the same time, and we could use it on or upon for that, certainly. I'm going to come back to this one because it's the same as offset, set something off against. But let's just do be set against. This is passive. Be set against something is be opposed to something. The same as be against something. Exactly the same as be against something. If we talk about something setting in, we're always talking about something negative. So we might be talking about winter. Winter has set in early this year, but it could be something else. You could say after a few hours boredom set in, and that would mean after a few hours we got really bored. So it's the start of something unpleasant, and in this sense it's exactly the same as the noun, the onset. We talk about the onset of winter, and we talk about the onset of a terrible disease. And that means the start of winter, the start of a terrible disease. So even though set in and onset have different prepositions, they're actually used exactly the same, with the same nouns even. Okay, offset means to compensate, to counterbalance. And so you might say lower salaries are offset by lower house prices in this particular area. And it just means they're compensated, yeah? Even though you get a low salary, the house prices are very low, so you don't need to pay much for your house. So the two negatives balance out, they cancel out. Cancel out is another good phrasal verb for offset. But you could say set something off against. So you might say it like this, you might say charitable donations are very often set off against tax. And that means that they're balanced by taxes, because you can take your charitable donations away from how much you pay in tax, and in that sense you set your donations off against tax. So here they're very similar. If something sets you back 50 quid, it means it costs 50 quid. If something sets you back 100 quid, it means it costs 100 quid. 100 pounds, I mean, by the way. Quid is like bucks. It's a shortened form of pounds, but in America it would be dollars, and bucks in England it's pound or quid. And it's never plural, by the way. 10 quid, 20 quid, 30 quid, but 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Now, a setback could also be a delay. Very often is, if you use it as a noun, a setback. But you could say this has set us back 6 months, meaning this has delayed the project by 6 months. Okay, also, but we're coming back to set off now, which I've already said is leave. We set off at 6:30, but you can also set off fireworks, meaning activate the fireworks, meaning set fire to the bottom of the firework so that it shoots off. But if you set off a mine, maybe you're a soldier and you set off a mine and unfortunately it injures you severely, this means you activate the mine. You activate bombs, alarms, or fireworks. So again, the burglar, you could say the burglar set off the burglar alarm. It means activate here for bombs, alarms, and fireworks. And it's when something activates the bomb, alarm, or firework. Lastly, one which you've probably come across before, set aside. It means to save. It's when you put by time or money. So time is also, you can also save time, remember, not just money. So you might say, I set aside a few hours to do my homework. Or you might say, I set aside 50 quid because I knew that the next television would set me back a lot of money. Something like that. Now I hope that's all clear. Please put any questions under the video. Hopefully next time I'll be in a better room and a better place for making videos, but things take time, and so be patient, and hopefully there'll be many more videos in the future. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all soon.